Hello, starting, receiving my content. Let's see here. Do a little mic check here. How do I sound? I sound good. All right. It's almost 4 o'clock. I'll get started at 4 o'clock, whether any of you clowns are watching or not. Anybody watching? No? Baby girl's my dog, and she's sitting right next to me. You'll see her pop in and out today. Nobody's here. Come on, you guys, get here. Give it another minute. All right, I'm gonna get started, even if none of you clowns are watching. Last night we attempted to build this Intel NUC, and what happened here is when I hit the power button, well, I plugged it in, the power button was orange. When I tapped the power button, it kind of blinked as I tapped it, and didn't come with very good instructions to tell me what that was trying to tell me. It didn't make any sounds, and it didn't produce any video. So I figured I screwed something up. And okay, so here's what I could have screwed up is maybe the computer was just DOA. This happens. That's one possibility. Another possibility is maybe the RAM was no good. Although I think I would have gotten a better indication from the computer that the RAM was bad. So that's a possibility. Another possibility is it's not very clear in the documentation whether I have to use what's called an M2 SSD, and that's storage that's on like a little card rather than that SSD drive that I put in yesterday. So well, that's a possibility. Anyway, here's what happened. Last night, I went and I ordered another Intel NUC. Now, when I do these in the future, I'm actually going to have, because I want to do these and I want to have them in shrink wrap boxes so you can see there's no, I'm not doing any tricks or anything. This stuff actually works. The downside is if you get a dead, computer or something, it kind of makes the stream go bad. So in the future, when I do these, I'm going to have several parts that I'll buy. So if I'm going to do one on a NUC, I'm going to probably end up ordering 3 NUCs. Okay, one to practice with, and then one to do the live stream with, and one in case everything goes bad. So so that way we can power through these things. And then the same thing goes with memory chips and everything else. And I've always got somebody who who wants a computer or something. So I'm not going to lose money on this garbage. But redundancy is really important. So that's what we're going to do. So I've actually made up a little troubleshooting sheet. I don't think I can share that with you. Maybe I can. I think I can. No, I can't. But I'm going to go through some troubleshooting steps here because all I got last night was the new NUC. I did not get a new memory chip, and I did not get a new SSD drive. So we're going to diagnose the best we can with this. If it turns out it's a memory chip, well, I get that tomorrow, and we'll do a part 3. So let's see how this works. So let me switch my display over to... Oh yeah, by the way, just in character here, Vijay Paneer Swami Jr. I'm tech support to the people of India, and I'm giving back to America today, doing some tech support for you guys, building a computer. So let me switch to the work computer, or to the work camera, and let's see here see how this goes. Okay, so there's the work camera. There's our table, and I'm going to switch over there. So let me first do this. I'll move the microphone. So there's a couple of things that we got to do here. So first thing is we're gonna take this NUC that we made last night. We're just gonna make sure that it doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug the plug in. And this is ready to plug in to power it on. I'm going to plug it into, I'm going to plug the HDMI cable in, and temporarily here, I'm going to switch my display to video capture. So this is how you guys saw the end of the video last night because there was no signal. And now I'm going to plug power into the NUC. I observe on the front in fact, let me show you what I observe on the front here. Here's a work camera. I observe this orange light. And when I press this, the orange light, you guys can probably see that blinking. Yes, the orange light is blinking. Okay. Now, when I take my hand off it, it's not blinking anymore. This NUC, by the way, has got memory in it, and it's got that SSD in it. Let's go check and see if it's just making any video for us. It is not. We have no signal there. So the first thing I'm going to do in troubleshooting this is I'm going to open up the NUC box, and we're going to get the so this is the new NUC. I'm going to open this up, and we are going to get the power cord out of it. And we're just going to try with a different power cord because, you know, sometimes these power bricks can go bad. It happens. Notice we've got all this stuff in here. You guys remember what this was? This was the Visa plate. Remember that? This is the... Whoop. Yeah, beautiful. Tell you what, I'm gonna put this to the side. This is our power brick that we get to assemble here. You know, you'd think after last night I would have thought, hey, why don't you bring a pair of scissors? Because you always needed scissors, and you know I didn't do that. Maybe next time I will remember to bring scissors. So out of this, we need to pick the US American plug. That would be this one. You remember how this worked? I'll put this back in the box. And this in the box. And you may have remembered you tap this to replace that. And then, whoop. I think I didn't do a very good job of that. Here we go, slide that down. This guy's ready. So I'm gonna go replace the power cord here, and we'll see if we get a different result. I don't think we are, but let's just make sure this isn't the problem. One second, we got power cord in there. All right, now I'm gonna plug this in. And let's observe the color of this. It's still orange. Let's quickly check our video capture card. We still get no signal from it. By the way, before the video stream here, I actually did check to make sure that if we got a signal from something, it was working. I plugged in a Raspberry Pi, and the screen came right up. So back to the work camera. Let's try this again. When we press this down, it still it blinks. Doesn't seem to do anything. Hold that for, you know, I think I read somewhere that the blinking might indicate that it's updating the BIOS or something, whatever that means. But it shouldn't blink so long. So I'm going to guess there's something just kind of wrong with that. Let's go check our video capture again. Nothing there. All right. So the next thing I want to do on my little checklist is I want to compare what happens with these guys, this old one and this new one, when they don't have a hard drive in them and they don't have memory in them. So let's do this. Let's unplug this guy and set the plug down there. And I am going to take the memory and the hard drive out of this because we're going to want to put them in the other one eventually here, I think. So I'm going to undo these 4 screws. You guys saw these last night. You guys saw how nicely this was put together. I like how all of you that are here now probably didn't watch me last night. You just heard from my friend C's how cool it was and how it was really neat that I was operating a screwdriver and was always dangerously close to putting it through my hand, which would be an amazing thing to see on a video cast. I know. Let's see here. Are all these... Well, one of these wasn't quite unscrewed enough. Okay, now it is. All right, remember, this comes up. This guy comes up. I'm going to go ahead and remove the SSD right now, and we'll save these screws and use them in the other bracket. You know, what I could do is I could just disconnect this whole bracket, except it has both a power lead and a what's called a SATA 3 lead. And you know, the power lead looked a little tiny to me, so I don't think I want to mess with that. But this will come out quick enough here. See, after I get this, I'll go over and look at your guys' comments. You know, magnetic screwdrivers are cool, huh? Because I could have lost that. That would have been sad. We will set this down over here and pull this gently out of the way. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the memory out. So what I do is remember I told you guys, ground yourselves every time you touch this thing. This is metal, so I'm going to ground myself. Then I'm going to pull these clip. You know, that was funny because it seemed like I only had to pull one clip. I think that was seated. I'm pretty sure it was seated. We'll see here. So I'm going to take this memory and I'm going to set it here as well. All right, so now we have an empty NUC. I'm going to tighten these screws up. And like I said, let's see where we get with this. See what happens when we start it up. It's supposed to chime if it doesn't have memory installed. It's supposed to make an audible chime. At least that's what the support pages say. Of course, the paper that comes with this, the instructions, are really, really no good. They get you through the very basics, but apparently not through troubleshooting, because they're not supposed to be any trouble. So let me get these things screwed in here. All right, before we go on, I'm going to go and take a look at see if anybody's commenting on this, giving me any garbage while I'm trying to do this. There are no comments in the chat. You know, if you're watching and you want to chat at me, that'd be kind of interesting. It'd make it a little more fun for me. Okay, so here's our empty NUC. Here's our power cable. I'm just going to go ahead and actually, I'm going to put the HDMI cable in first. As you can see, now I'm going to put the power cable in. Now we're going to observe what we have here. Okay, so it's orange, and if I press it in, it's blinking orange, just like it was when we had the memory and the SSD card in. So this might be telling me that I have memory that it didn't like. Maybe that's what it's telling me here. We're going to know in a minute, because we're going to do a comparative test with this other NUC. And what I'm kind of hoping is that this one's going to come out different. This is our original NUC, remember. This thing go out of the way. Here's our new NUC. You know, it smells new. How's that new NUC smell? You gotta like the new NUC smell. I wish our video cast could show you, or could help you guys out with what a new NUC smell is. Ooh, does this thing even want to go in? That's a good question. All right, I put the HDMI cable in. I'm going to put the power in right now. Now check this out. We have on the front here, it's orange, and when I press it in, oh, it turned blue. So this is actually very different from what happened with the other NUC. So I'm going to assume that the other NUC is defective. Now, this is, when I went and dug for some tech support material, this is what I was supposed to expect if there was no memory installed, which is this guy would beep blue, and if I plugged headphones in, I'm supposed to hear some beeping. you know what? I'm not going to even bother plugging the headphones in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this. Actually, before I unplug it, let's see if we get any video out of it. That would be interesting, right? So let's see your video capture. Okay, still no video signal. So I'll go back to here. Let's unplug this. Unplug the power there. We're going to unplug the HDMI cable. Now let's open this up and let's install some memory, and let's see what happens if we install some memory. If we could at least get it to sort of boot, that would be kind of neat. Maybe show us a screen or something. And then if this works out, I think I'll do a third video cast where we will we'll install Windows on it, because you know it's getting to be close to dinner time and I'm kind of hungry, and the dog's scratching. That means the dog needs to go out. So I think we're just gonna see what we can accomplish today. There's the back of this thing. Baby girl, you okay? Just chill out a little bit. You don't need to scratch yourself. She's a cool dog. She is 14. She's going to be 15 in April, and at the end of April. And she runs around like a puppy. She chases her toys. She chases the other dogs when they're around. She just has a real good time. So, got the memory. Here's our memory. I'm going to put it in the bottom slot. By the way, I didn't mention this last night, but that's typically what you do so that if you ever want to upgrade your RAM, you don't have to... Let's see here, is that right? You don't have to do a lot of work. You just open it up and add some more RAM. Here's another thing about these. This guy supports a total of 32 gigs. And the way you do it is you'd put a 16 and a 16 in here. This is an 8 gig chip. Typically, a single 8 gig chip is a little bit more expensive than two 4 gig chips. But as you can see, when I've got a single 8 gig chip, I can upgrade this to 16 by just adding a single 16. If I have two 4 gig chips, and let's say I want to upgrade to 16, well, I got to take those two 4s out. I got to throw them away and put two 8s in, or put one 16 in. So right now, I think kind of the sweet spot for a media computer that you might be using to watch YouTube videos or stream your favorite streaming service or whatever. It's probably about 8 gigs. If you want to do some light video editing and stuff, maybe you want to get up to 16. My big computer, I've got 32 in right now, and that's absolutely wonderful for Adobe Premiere and stuff. But of course, it's got a giant video card, and it's got four cores, and it's just amazingly fast. Anyway, we're gonna do this for now, and let's just see how far this gets us, and then we'll after that we'll do the SSD drive. Since we're not gonna actually install Windows today, I'd just like to see if we get a little bit further if we have the memory in. So I think we could run this without screwing down the base, and I would, you know what, if I weren't video casting it, I'd probably do that. Just be lazy that way, but just for now, just to be really careful about things, we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to take the HDMI cable and plug it in. I'm going to take the power cable and put it on. Let me show you guys what this looks like. So we've got orange there. I'm going to tap that. Check this out. Now it's blue. It's solid blue. And let's switch our video over to video capture and see if we get anything here. Aha, look at this. Intel NUC. It's initializing and establishing link. This is the boot agent. There's no media, so that's what it's kind of upset about right now. I'm going to power it down. Here's how I'll power it down. I'm going to hold down the... Okay, that's what I did. I just held down the blue and it shut it down. Let's disconnect the video. Oh, you guys didn't see that. Switch back to the work camera here. Anyway, I powered it down. I disconnected the HDMI. Let me disconnect this cable. tell you what, we're gonna do something kind of interesting here. We're gonna put that SSD drive in. We're going to attach the keyboard, and I have a just so we can see it boot. I have a flash drive that has Windows 10 installer on it. Now we're not going to go through that this time because we're 20 minutes into this, and I think I'm going to do that as a third. Do the install Windows as a third thing because maybe I can practice or something. Then less chance of being a ridiculous failure. Let's go ahead and put this in. Remember how we did this before? We got these 4 screw holes here. This makes this line up real nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and put the SSD in. Then I'm going to take these 4 screws and secure it here. So while I'm doing this, anybody want to answer the question? Answer it in your heads, because I know there's only one of you watching and you don't like to chat with me live. So answer this in your head. What was wrong? And while I do this, you think about that a little bit. What was wrong? Why did this work, but the one last night did not work? And have you thought about this? There's only really three. Well, there's really only 4 possible answers. Like, one answer is, Brad, you just didn't have all the right parts you needed. Then there's another answer, which is, Brad, the SSD drive was broken. Then there's another answer, which is, Brad, the memory was hosed. Then there's another answer, which was, Brad, that NUC was actually the thing that was hosed. Do you guys think about this? I wish I could put a poll up. Maybe I should put it on Twitter while I'm doing this. What do you think was wrong? And the answer, of course, is that this NUC DOA, I got to send it back. We put the SSD in. Let's button this up. I'm really glad this worked out, because I think I'd have been pretty annoyed if I had to try a third time and it was memory. But I do have memory on order. The memory takes 2 days to get here, whereas Amazon's pretty neat, right? I ordered this like 11 o'clock last night, and it was here by about noon today. So that's pretty good, and that was free 1-day delivery. So even if you have something that goes bad, you can fix it quickly. Let's do this. Let's plug in the video. Let's. Oh yeah, this is our old cable here. Somewhere I have our old cable here. I'm going to get this out of the way because we don't need it. That's out of the way. Here's our new power cable. Oh yeah, we got these things from the new one. Remember last night we had a dongle for the keyboard, and this is a USB dongle. I'm going to go ahead and put that right here so we can use a... And these, let's see here, they're just a little finicky, that's all. Anyway, that's in. I've got a USB keyboard. Before I power this up, let me grab a flash drive here. Where's the flash drive? Here's a flash drive. All right, so this is my flash drive that has Windows 10 installer on it. I used this about a month and a half ago on end of October, so almost 2 months, on the big computer. So this should do the job for us. I didn't have to download it this time. I'm going to take it and I'm going to just plug it into one of the USB ports on the front here. Then what I'm going to do before I plug the power in, I'm going to switch over to video capture so you guys can see there. And we'll plug this guy in. All right, I just plugged it in. I'm seeing the orange power button. I'm going to tap the orange power button. It turns blue. I failed to mention this while I was on the camera. This is going to give me some. Let's see here. This will give me some. There we go. Intel NUC. I am drinking. I've got a espresso. It's the Illy blend from Illy Espresso. It's really, really good. I order it on Amazon now because Ralph's doesn't carry it. Excuse me. And I like to just pure espresso, no milk, no foam, no anything else. All right, well, as you can see here, it does look like I've got a good screen. Can I actually read it? That's a good question. You know, I can't actually read it. That's unfortunate. Can I move my mouse on it? Yes, I can. How can I make this bigger so I could see it? Let's see here. I know what I can do. Let me resize it here. Oh yeah, and you can see that the NUC is not really synchronizing with the video input. So this might be one of those things where it's better for me to hook it up to a monitor and do the work here. But I'm just going to go ahead and just make a guess, and we'll just hit next. Yeah, this isn't going to work too well for installing. So I've got to figure this part out. But guess what? Here's what we accomplished today. Let me go back to the work camera. We actually made this guy work and boot. If I fiddle with before the next video cast, I'll fiddle with the settings and make sure we can watch what I'm doing, and we'll install Windows. But this worked, and to answer the big question, this was bad. So I've got to send this back. And sometimes that happens when you're building these computers and stuff. And you know, when you're, let's say you're like I put 2,500 into my big one, you know, because I'm doing Premiere editing with it and stuff like that. You know, I was lucky, nothing went wrong. If something goes wrong, well, you've got to figure out, okay, what went wrong. Usually the easiest way to figure out what went wrong is to have redundant parts. If I'm building a $2,500 computer and I have all the redundant parts, it means I got 5,000 into it. That's kind of ridiculous. So you just try to go step by step and verify that everything's working along the way. Don't get too deep into things before you verify everything works right. So fortunately, this wasn't terribly expensive. It was it was $250. So not too bad. I'll send it back and get my refund. That's how that'll work. So a future one here, we're gonna install Windows on this thing. That'll happen either tonight or Wednesday night, and then I've got another one of these that's lined up. I want to show you guys how to buy and configure a secure router for your home, and it's a little more in detail than you might imagine. We're going to actually install custom software on it, custom router control software on it, that you'll have a little bit more control over the router. And then from there, I want to show you guys how I've set up cameras and stuff that don't cost me a monthly fee, and yet I've got a full camera view of my home when I'm gone, see what the dogs are doing. And it's everybody who sees it says, "Wow, Brad, you should do that for people." And I'm like, well, yeah, I'd love to do that for people, but it kind of requires that you know what you're doing, or you have somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. So I want to make it a little, try to make it easy so that it's more accessible to people. And that's pretty much what I want to do. Let me switch cameras here, and let's see here, display cam. I'm going to switch cameras here and talk you guys out. Yeah, here I am. Baby girl's sitting right underneath me. She had a good time through this. By the way, I'll show you what I'm drinking here. So here's my espresso. And then I've discovered iced coffee lately. Long brew iced coffee. And I like to mix it with, about half and half with non-fat milk. And that's a really nice pick-me-up in the afternoon. This one ice brew coffee I like, I was trying to buy it the other day at Ralph's, and they were taking it all down because it didn't have its Prop 65 warning on it. In California, you have to warn of anything that causes cancer. And I was trying to tell the guy, look, I'll take one for the team. I will have cancer. I will have lots of cancer in order to have good ice brew coffee. I'm okay with it. And, you know, he really thought he was trying to help us out by, you know, keeping us all from getting cancer, but we're all going to get it anyway. It's just that the warning's going to go on. I don't know. I don't understand that. Probably a bit that I could use sometime in my stand-up. Anyway, guys, thank you. Thank you all very much. I will talk to you soon when I get ready to install Windows on that NUC. Take care.